If they don't know, Jones, call me David, Professor Jones. I'm not Dr. Jones. I wish I was. Well, no, I don't. I had the option to be Dr. Jones and I decided not to. You can literally call me like pretty much anything as long as I don't think you're trying to be rude. You get away with pretty much anything. Fair enough. I am an alumni from here, and this is probably the hardest math class you're gonna take. There's a reason why I say that. The class is not overly difficult. The problem is students come from doing algebra and trigonometry, where the work you could get away with doing less homework and be like, yeah, I know what I'm fucking doing. You try that shit here, the first test is gonna be a wood chipper for you. You are gonna just get shredded. Calc 1, and this is not just me, every teacher that I like, the first time I taught Calc 1 and I had the test scores back, I like emailed all the other math teachers, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? This was the pass rate, and they're like, no, that's on par, you're doing like, same thing everyone else is doing, just because everyone else, I'm like, really? I said, yep. This is just, it's like a gateway course, so like, if you hang in there, you can change your study habits and shit like that. And still end up walking away with an A. So, just keep in mind, you're gonna wanna put in the work. I am an alumni from here. I came to COS. When is it starting? I came to COS in like 2008 to 11 or something like that. I transferred I got into Berkeley, but I didn't wanna go. I went there, I didn't like the campus. I went to Merced. Merced was awesome. I got to publish as an undergrad. I got to teach as an undergrad. I was a rare exception because I was older than the average student. And a special scenario came up and they didn't have anybody else to do it. So they asked an undergrad to do it. So I had a bunch of opportunities in Merced that I knew I wouldn't have gotten at Berkeley. And I got a 4.0. I graduated with a 4.0 in applied mathematics and physics/optics. I transferred to Santa Cruz, well, not transferred, I went to Santa Cruz for grad school, I went for my PhD. I was doing applied mathematics and statistics. My research was in astrophysics, you'll see in a little while. And after a couple years, it's like I wasn't enjoying doing the research, so I stopped my PhD with a master's. You can do that in like some schools allow you to be working on a PhD and get far enough with the master and say, no, I'm done. Because I like teaching a whole lot more than I like doing research. That's me in front of a NASA logo. That was at NASA. I have interned at NASA a couple times. Oh, fuck, thank you. I got the wrong screen up. I like Zoom sharing it just fine. There we go. I haven't changed slides yet, so this is the first time. My first time with NASA was at COS actually. And I was the only student to do it. They were offering a new program called the Aerospace Community College Scholarship Program. I applied for it, no one else did, I don't know why, I was a math person with all engineering people, you think they would have been like, fuck yeah, let's do this. No one else did it, I was the only one that did it, I got to go, I came back with like stories, and now I'd like to just go every semester. And so like when they do it this semester, I'll let you guys know if you're interested in NASA, it's a great opportunity. It's something you do while you're at school here, so it's like adds on to your workload for a little while. But you start making inroads at NASA, if that's something that's interesting to you, it's a great opportunity. I'm a dog person, not a cat person. Nothing against cats, I like my pets to worship me. I want them to like be happy to see me when I come home, not like be like, oh, you're here. My dog is Lunar. That's Lunar. The left is where he's a puppy. The one on the right was like after he was a year old. He's about 2 now. August, he was born in August. That's my wife, Angie. I've been married. Oh shit, before I play the one I've been married, maybe we should play the guessing game. How old do I look?
43.
Okay, anybody else got a guess? Towers.
45.
Okay. You're only gonna get in trouble if you say like 70 or some shit like that. I am actually 49. Generally, people peg me at least a decade younger. By my looks. I attribute it to all the preservatives I eat, but it's probably all the comedy I like to watch. I've been married 20 years. This is my 20th year. I like superhero shit. I like Marvel over DC. They've been starting to do some good DC stuff lately. I don't read the comics. I'm more of a like watch the shows kind of thing. I only have one comic, and that is Superman marrying Lois Lane. It's way old. I like Iron Man a lot. Wasn't happy about the ending of Endgame. Star Wars great. Scarlett Johansson's hot. Groot's funny. Fuck Captain America. Dude throws a fucking metal frisbee. That is. Meh. I mean, really, he throws a frisbee. He plays frisbee golf. But like, I like The Boys better. If you haven't seen The Boys, it's on Amazon Prime. And don't watch it with children. It's what people with superpowers would do if they were real. Because superheroes wouldn't be, you might have a few, but most people didn't behave like boys. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. I like comedies. I like a lot. I like to watch comedies all the time. In fact, I'm rewatching this right now with my wife when we have like dinner and shit like that. Big Bang Theory. This is probably my third or fourth watch here. I watched like Scrubs, 30 Rock, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, What We Do in the Shadows. There's a bunch that I like. There's more that are not popping in my head, but I like laughing. I don't like horror. My wife loves horrors. Her idea of comedy is watching horror with me so she can laugh at me. Like yeah. Cause I'll like squeal and scream like a little girl. I do it all the time. In fact, have you guys seen the movie Lights Out? Where the monster only shows up like when the lights are out? I voluntarily said, okay, let's go see that in the movie theater. Normally I make her watch horror movies at home. I don't want to do them in the theater where everyone can see me scream. But we went and saw it in the theater, and there's one scene where like the monster shows up and the dude's on the couch and the monster shows up like on top of the couch, like on the back of the couch, and it started to like come down like this. And I hear like, and it fucking cracks me up, and I laugh a little, and then it dawns on me that when I started laughing, the noise stopped, which meant the sound was coming from my own fucking throat. And then I laughed harder, and that scared the shit out of my wife. So she screamed. She got what she deserves. I like comedies. Horror. I don't. Fear isn't like a good feeling. I don't get it. I don't know why people like it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What We Do in the Shadows is great. I like vampires shit a lot too. I've watched a lot of the Vampire Diaries and the originals and shit like that. I don't know. If I could be a vampire, I would. Probably wouldn't be a very good vampire. I don't know how fast I'd be. But this is like a comedy about vampires. I like to read. I didn't like to read for a long time. I read while I was like a kid, and then I became like an adult. And I go, there's better shit to do. And my mom passed away 2 years ago, and she was on my Kindle account. I like bought her a Kindle and had Kindle Unlimited for her. And like Kindle Unlimited had just refreshed its subscription, so I'm not gonna waste it. So I started reading when she passed away. And I've literally read every single day since she died. I read, and so this was like last year, 57 titles read. Look at that shit. That's over a book a week. That's fucking crazy. I only like read at night too. I get stuck, like it's hard going to sleep when you're enjoying a book.
What's your favorite genre?
I like fantasy. This is my favorite book right here. I read it last year. Jenny Carl. It's the audiobook's even better than the fucking book. It's a 6-book series, and he's still making books. It's about like if aliens took over the planet and like killed most of the population, but everybody else was given the option to go into this dungeon where it's televised across the universe. And like if you survive the dungeon, you like inherit the planet kind of thing. And so it's him and his cat trying to make it through the dungeon. And it's fucking hilarious. It's got like video game elements. Like he has an inventory that he can just throw shit in and pull it out. He's got like a hotbar. But like. It's kind of like after like the first few chapters, it stops doing that. Excessive video game description and just more of like a fantasy story. Fantasy sci-fi, I guess, since it's got aliens and shit. But the audiobooks are fucking phenomenal. Eventually the cat talks and she's a show cat. And she's a C word. And not the C word isn't cat here. She's fucking hilarious though.
It's the 4-letter one.
Yeah, it's the 4-letter one. I don't know why I will cuss out my ass all the fucking time, but I just don't want to say that. I won't use the C word. Unless like, well, at least at work. You know. If I cuss too much for you, let me know. I'll try to tone it down, but I'm not making any fucking promises. Fair? Does anyone recognize that?
Or the Warcraft in the chair.
Yes. Does anyone else? Anyone else? That, like, it's been a while. Very rarely do I have anyone recognize the Lich King. They'll know it's a video game.
No, I grew up with old WoW.
But yeah, I grew up on a wall too. So like, when I was sitting here, I was doing like, we were playing Vanilla WoW, which is like the first one before everything came out. They had 40-man raids. And I ended up being raid leader for the hardest dungeons there. And like, we would play on Saturdays. And the first like couple Saturdays, we played for 8 hours. And like the bouncer at Molten Core, that's the dungeon. He literally killed us all day. For like, I don't know how many times we died that first 8 hours. We just walk in, we're like, no, we're gonna try this, we're gonna try this. Nope, just, you know, it was like a blender. Like the first test is probably gonna be for you guys. It's fucking dark. But within 6 months, we had the whole dungeon down to a 2-hour run. It has like 8 bosses plus the final boss, and it's like, so the reason why I bring it up is when I was applying to NASA, they asked if you had leadership skills. I wanted to put something, I couldn't think of anything else, and I thought, you know what? If there's any place that has fucking gamers, the nerds at NASA are gonna be gamers, they're gonna be gamers. I don't know if they are, and I don't know if it helped, but I do know of all the interns they had, I was the only one that was going for math. All the other ones were engineering, you know, physics, chemistry, biology, all sorts of fields, but I was the only math guy. Interning in NASA, it was out, I went out to Ames Research Center. This is a building there. No, it's not that close to the moon or Mars. It's called Sustainability Base. Ames Research Center is like near San Jose and like halfway between San Jose and San Francisco. It's next to Google headquarters and stuff. This building was like, it's like a mock-up of a moon building, except the windows open. You don't want the windows opening on the moon, of course. But it like generated all its own electricity, it recycled 99% of its water. So like if it was on the moon, you could get away with, you know, being there. And I was working on helping automate it. It was a smart building. It had sensors everywhere, and since it's in the Bay Area, like outside has a good temperature. Most of the time, with enough of a wind flow, it would monitor the heat and wind flow and open up windows automatically so that no air conditioning was needed ever. Which was neat. I was working on stuff like that. I had to learn a bunch of whole new computer programs. The windows were scary as fuck when they opened, because it was like a really loud, like someone threw a fork into a blender thing. I keep using the word blender. Right? You're like, ah. And if your back's to it and you've never heard it before, you're like, what the fuck is that? It was really interesting. Next time I entered there, it was in the aeromechanics branch. Aeromechanics governs flight, not just like space shuttles and stuff like that, but airplanes and helicopters, other things like that. This is a helicopter blade. It's called an airfoil. They are teardrop shaped and curved, and they have different widths and curvatures. And we were simulating, testing different ones to try to maximize the lift. What angle does the blade need to be at? What thickness? What, you know, curvature? maximize the lift and like minimize the drag so that you get a more fuel efficient helicopter. It was really neat. You will, going down the calculus sequence, you'll even learn these, they're making little boxes here, big boxes over here. Little boxes near the helicopter blade. They're checking things like density of air and speed and stuff like that. And the closer they are to that, you gotta do smaller things. This is like end game math, but you'll learn some of the basics actually in this class later on. Now, as much as all that was neat, I thought, oh, this would be cool. I would want to work at NASA. That was my dream growing up. And I didn't think I could. They don't have, you never see a fat astronaut. And that was my thought, that's all they have is astronauts. But I worked there for a while and I realized I enjoyed the idea of it and telling people I worked at NASA more than actually like doing it. I was working with a supercomputer and it would take a while to run. And so I'm just sitting there waiting for the results. Same thing happened with my graduate research. I said I was doing applied math, but I was focused on astrophysics. This is a solar flare. It's kind of like a noodle plasma that rises to the surface due to different physics properties. And we were, simulating how a solar flare rises to the surface of the sun. And like it took like 2 years to figure out why the code wasn't running. And it was a supercomputer also, but it would take like 8 hours to run. And then it would come back and say, it wouldn't even show me anything for a long time. It'd just say, nope, didn't work. I'm like, motherfucker, if it didn't work, you probably knew it didn't work within the first 10 minutes. Why didn't you kick this shit back then? But it didn't. And I got tired of that. I'm like, this is researching math. I'm not enjoying it. As a COS student here, though, I tutored in the Mesa Center. I'll talk to you guys about the Mesa Center later. It's good for you. And the dean saw me tutoring enough, and he's like, if you ever want to be a math teacher when you're close to your master's degree, well, let me know. Come over and we'll get you a job. And so I emailed him. I'm like, is that an offer still on the table? He's like, oh yeah. And so I told Santa Cruz I wanted to stop at my master's, and they said, well, don't drop out yet. Like, we'll put you on hold for a year, which was super cool. They're like, go teach for a year and see if you like it, and then make a decision. And they called me 362 days later. Like, they're like, it's been a year. You want to come back? I'm like, no, I like teaching. I do. You help enough students that really want to learn that like it weighs out all the students that show up and don't care. You all know what I'm talking about. You've all seen people in your classes that like, they're here just to, they don't know why they're here. They're just taking the class. This is the solar flare rising up, and it's kind of neat. It's a cool idea. It's a cool topic. I like food. Clearly. This is up there because I like Mexican food. Tamales actually are like probably my least favorite Mexican food. But they're one of the most recognizable Mexican foods. You know what I mean? My wife loves these. Part of this slide is in there to remind myself to wet my whistle. But the other part is I like coffee. I used to tutor at Starbucks on the weekends for my students. And then Mesa said, hey, you want to do it over here on Saturday? We'll pay you. I'm like, fuck, my students weren't paying me. I was doing it for free. So on Saturdays from 9 AM to noon over in Visalia in the John Muir building, I'll give you more information about it. I'm over there tutoring math students. Generally only, like 6 to 10 students show up. So like, and few of them ever actually ask questions when they show up. It's kind of weird. So if you want help on the weekend, you can show up. Who's that? That's not Darth Vader, get out. That's Lord Vader. Only rebel scum called Vader. You knew this already. I like Star Wars a lot, but I like villains. And like if you've seen The Boys, you know I like villains. I said I like The Boys. I like Star Wars over Star Trek. I know that's blasphemy for people that are fans of both. My friends don't get it. I'm like, Star Wars has all the same shit Star Trek has, but it has fucking magic and lightsabers. Fuck off, Star Trek. Like, I don't know. I like Star Wars. I like villains more, I just do, in most fields. But those are, who here has seen any Star Wars? I'm finding the older I get, the less, oh, good. I wonder if it's a STEM field. Like, I asked this to stats, and I've had a class where like one person raised their hand. Like, I'm not that fucking old, they're still making Star Wars movies. There's shows on Disney Plus, how am I fucking alone?
Not the best though. They're trying to make the shows as good as what the movies are, and it's just like they set the bar too high with Mandalorian.
Some of them, yeah, I like Mandalorian. But
That's-
like Ahsoka. I haven't. What's the Acolyte? I haven't even finished Acolyte yet, so that's clearly like not high on my list either. There's too many just like, motherfuckers are Jedis and you can't tell the difference between twin sisters. When one of them got a fucking tattoo on her forehead and the other one doesn't. Get the fuck out of here. How observant are you Jedis? If you haven't seen Acolyte, you don't know what I'm talking about. But for those, since most of you have seen Star Wars, if you don't like Darth Vader, most of you like Yoda. Everybody kind of likes Yoda that watches it because he talks funny. This is in one of his, the later, not the first three, but I think it's in episode 1. It's 7, maybe, I don't know. No, it's not 1, it's definitely 7. He's talking to Luke, adult Luke, he's like, dude, I told you to go to raise Jedis, you're the last Jedi, fucking go make Jedis. And you have, but you didn't teach him how to, this is me translating Yoda. You showed them how to do the magic and the lightsaber shit, but you didn't show them how to fail or to deal with their fucking emotions and shit like that. Teacher failure. You guys are gonna miss a lot of questions in here, and you're gonna be like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I guarantee you, I have missed more math problems, gotten them wrong than you ever even tried. Just been doing math longer than you, and I still make mistakes. We make mistakes. It doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. Look through your work. Try to find if you made an algebra mistake, which is usually the problem. The calculus in here really isn't too bad. You're gonna have to memorize some formulas and stuff like that, but the algebra, people come here and algebra is the killer. If you have weak algebra and trig skills, algebra more than trig, you're gonna have a hard semester. Having said that, I'm working on something where there's gonna be a free program that if you want to refresh your algebra and trig skills, I should have a link to it where you can like go and like, it's online and you do questions and they'll remind you of how to do shit. So you can refresh your memory if you've got time. But if you make mistakes, don't give up, come ask questions. There's lots of ways you can do it, there's the math tutorial lab, which is in the building next door, building A, you go up the stairs, it's in the library. Just ask the first person you see where the math lab is, they'll point it to you. Visalia has one. It's in the Educational Support Services building, which is the new building on Meadow and Mooney. If you live in Hanford, and I know at least one of us in here lives close to Hanford. There's a math tutoring place on Hanford. And then there's the Mesa Center. Mesa Center is probably better for calculus students. I like video games. This is Metroid. I grew up with Metroid and Zelda and shit like that. Metroid's getting hard, it's gotten harder and fucking harder with some of these games. The last one that came out, I started playing it, I got distracted. I was teaching. And I got distracted with something and I stopped playing it and I'm like, fuck, if I go back, I gotta restart it. But they're getting harder and harder. I like Metroid a lot, it's a lot of fun. I like Zelda a lot too, I grew up with Zelda. I did not want to play, but this is from Breath of the Wild, I did not want to play Breath of the Wild for the longest fucking time. Because those graphics, colors suck ass. But that tower up there, even on this super fucking cool motorcycle, is a long, like takes you like 15 minutes to get to. They sacrifice color and detail for distance. There's no fucking zoning in Zelda. It's just a full world. It was really cool. I didn't beat this one. There's like, if you played it, there's 120 shrines, which are like small dungeons. And I found 119. And I'm like one of those that likes to complete the game, like do it all. And
The sequel's longer,
what?
the sequel's longer.
That's coming next. I like, if you played it, I didn't try to get all the Karoxes and shit like that, but I wanted to do all the shrines, I finally looked up, where's the fucking last shrine? And it comes out on during the blood moon, which only like happens for like 30 seconds every 3 hours. In a specific location, I'm like, no, I'm not just gonna run around there for 3 hours and do it, so I just didn't beat it. I walked all the way up to Ganon's door, I just didn't go in. Speaking of Tears of the Kingdom. That was my playtime upon completion, and I gave up trying to be a completionist. Like I did the whole sky area, all the world, most of the world, I can't even say the whole like land area, but like. Underground, I only had like 60% of it, I got just like, nope, this is too long. I've never spent that much time on any fucking game. Years like Witcher 3. Doing everything was still on like 100, 110 hours or something like that. This is crazy. I like Zelda. But not as much as I like this game. How many in here recognize it?
Dark Souls 2,
Just the genre. I don't know which Dark Souls I stole this from. More hands than I thought. Good. The Dark Souls is my jam. I like that genre a lot. Right now I'm actually playing Horizon Forbidden West on my I have a PS5, playing on that. But I think I'm gonna do Sekiro Shadows Die Twice next. I started it on my PS4, like when school started. So I played just enough to get to like the first boss, and then I got distracted for 3 weeks with school. And I just, when I went back, I'm like, let's play something else. I haven't done Elden Ring DLC yet, but Elden Ring I've done. That's fun. If you've ever played Dark Souls and you like video games, this is this game series. I got friends that are fucking fantastic at fighting games. They're way better at most games than me. They won't play this fucking game. They try to like, this is too hard. I'm like, you little bitch. It's hard. You die a lot. You have, it's like most video games before that, for this genre, you could literally button mash and win. Just hit the buttons fast enough, you will outdo the characters in the game. Not like player versus player, like fighting games, but you can button mash in other games. Dark Souls, no. You look out a dodge and use your shield and stuff like that, or you die. As I said, Witcher 3, I like the TV show. I don't know if anyone's watched it. I don't know if I finished the last season. Now that I think about it. I like Lucifer. Yeah, that could turn some fucking heads. It's a TV show. I'm not like a Satan worshiper, please. This show is fucking great. It was on Fox and like they canceled it. And so like the fans, and I was one of them, went on a social media thing doing Save Lucifer, but I was doing I Love Lucy as well, like a reference to the old TV show, I Love Lucy. And then came back on, was it Netflix? I think it was on Netflix that finished it.
Yeah.
I brought like 4 more seasons. I love that show. Walking Dead, I liked Walking Dead for a while. And then we got to this scene. If you've seen Walking Dead and gotten to this scene, you know what's wrong and what happens here. And we got here and my wife and I just like stopped watching the show. We're like, this isn't about zombies anymore. This is about horrible fucking people. And then like it finished and they have expansions coming out with Daryl and stuff like that. We're like, let's rewatch it. Let's give it another try. So we watched all the way through, got to the scene, struggled through the scene. And then Negan, the guy holding the bat here, is now like my favorite character. He's really just got a good character story and everything like that. Lucille's the bat. And he literally bludgeons someone to death right in front of, like on camera with it. It's not even off camera. They like show it, the bat coming down. Does anyone recognize that? Only one. Oh, got one. Dexter Morgan. Villain? Would you call him a villain or no? People struggle on this. He's like what Batman should do. Batman only gets people arrested and shit like that, ties them up, leaves them for the police. Dexter kills him. He works for the Miami Metro Police Department. He does blood spatter analysis. That's his job. He just like finds out who gets away with crimes, like should have been, knows they were guilty, but the the fucking legal system let him go. And he goes and does the real justice, like end game for him. Great series, the last episode sucked. But then they came out, like, the last episode was so bad. Like a decade later, they made one more season. That showcased like his child, him and his son. Just to like give it a better ending, because the fans were pissed. Game of Thrones is great. I like dragons, fantasy, shit like that. I had read the books before watching this. Has anyone who's seen Game of Thrones? Only a few. Okay. So those that have, like, the red wedding scene, I knew it was coming. I was watching my wife. And she freaked the fuck out, of course, like it. And so then my mother-in-law moves in with us like a year or two later. We're like, oh, Game of Thrones is starting back up. Let's restart at the beginning and get her to watch it with us. And we get to the red wedding scene. There's some dramatic shit there. And she doesn't flinch. Mom doesn't it doesn't faze her. And I asked her after, like, can you tell me what happened? She told me what happened. So she understood, she comprehended. Just didn't fucking bother her, and I'm like, I didn't sleep easy for a couple nights. Like, I fucking live with a psychopath now. This show is not for kids. Okay? My guilty pleasure. Survivor. I don't like reality TV shows in general. I used to do accounting before I was a math teacher. Before I got a degree, I'd taken some, like, just enough community college courses in accounting to get like a certificate. And I worked for the Diocese of Fresno, which is like the headquarters for the Catholic Church. For like the entire like county and stuff like that. And I worked in the office with all women. And one of the first seasons of Survivor was guys versus girls. And they were talking shit. The girls are gonna kick the guy's ass, and I'm like, let's bet on it. And so I started watching it to see if I was gonna win my bet. I don't even remember who won. I have no fucking idea if I had to pay up or I won. But since then, my wife been watching it. I don't watch a lot of anime and stuff like that, but like Pixar shit, I love. There is some anime, like Castlevania, I like the Castlevania ones. Someone's got me watching Arcane now.
Helsing,
Have you seen what?
Helsing.
It sounds familiar, but
What was the vampire one? The around 900s or thousands.
I don't know if I have or not. But yeah, Helsing would definitely be about it, because it's about Van Helsing. It's a story, a character and stories. This is here because when I graduated from COS, not graduated, transferred, I won the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship. It's a national scholarship. It pays for your transfer school, and if you're getting like above like 3.5 and you're getting close to graduation, email me, I'll let you know about how you can apply for it. Like, it'll pay like 50,000 or more for each year of your transfer school. The first guy I met at Scholar Weekend was a claymation and animation artist. He now works at Disney. He's like one of the lead. There's so many fucking weird titles. It's like, I kept saying lead designer, and he said it's lead layout. Something, lead layout designer, lead layout specialist. I don't know. He works there. He like tells people that he knows people that work at NASA, like rocket scientists. I'm like, I know people that work at Disney. Good friendship. Indiana Jones. I like Indiana Jones a lot. I grew up with watching it. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was garbage. I like the last one though, because it featured a math guy. It's about a mathematician. That's good shit. I like this show a lot. Raiders of the Lost Ark was great. I will at some point in this class call someone a clever girl. And seeing as how this class is predominantly male, it's probably gonna be to a male. And it's not a reference to your gender or anything like that. It's a reference to this scene. I may not be the most masculine guy, but like I like what little boys do. Dinosaurs and robots and girls and all that shit. And Jurassic Park's fucking great. And I love the scene. And we're almost done with this shit. Does anyone know what this is? Flux capacitor, yeah, it's from Back to the Future. I like the idea of time travel a lot. In fact, if you haven't read, what is it called? The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. It's not that long of a book and it's a really good read. But if you're in Calc 1, there's a good chance you're gonna be going through the physics sequence. Take physics 3, you'll learn about time travel. It's called time dilation. What it boils down to is only one way, but we do have a way of moving through time faster than we do, which is fucking crazy. But the math supports it.
You know, O'Reilly's got one of those on their website,
Who?
O'Reilly,
Really?
you look it up right now.
I'll do it later. That shit's too.
121G is the order number, I think.
It's just something you buy to install in
You
your car?
you can't actually buy it, but the part's on there, it says like out of
Oh,
stock,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's still on there,
That's pretty fucking cool.
pretty funny.
I'm gonna have to look that up and share that later. Does anyone know who that is? 2 fucking days in a row, this is fantastic! Normally it's like one class every other year, one person knows who it is. Yesterday, someone knew what it was too, this is fucking great. Oh, he's over here showing it to me. That's fucking cool. I played Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't get to play it when I was a kid, but I really liked it, but I never knew anybody that wanted to. And as an adult, I found a website that said, hey, we're looking for gamers. And like some of my closest friends are now the people I met online. In fact, I met my wife online, I met my closest friends online, it's fucking crazy. I played Dungeons and Dragons, we used to play in person. Now, like during the pandemic, some people moved and we just got used to doing it on Zoom and online. I'm playing, I don't know if it's this Saturday or Sunday, but I'm playing this week. Generally play 2 times a month, sometimes 1. And I like music, I like old classic rock more than other forms, but I listen to just about everything, little country, little, hip hop, rap, shit like that. Country's my least favorite. Like I like Garth Brooks and shit like that, but how many times can you listen about your dog dying and your wife leaving you and shit like that? Your fucking house getting picked up in a tornado because it was on 4 wheels. Like. I don't know if Henry Ford said this. I think he did. But it's a good quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. If you're in this class and you start going through and you're like, I can't do this shit, you're making that your reality. If you catch yourself saying you can't do something, fucking go look in the mirror and go, I can do this shit. I can do it. Pump yourself up. Because it really makes a difference. And it's not like that, if you say I can't do this, it's not that you can't, it's that at that point, if you think that, why fucking try? Why waste your time and effort trying to do something you don't think you can do? And so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you tell yourself you can, and you're just like, I need to work harder or ask for help or something like that, you'll manage to squeak through, you'll get through it, you'll learn it. And that's the end of the slideshow. That's about me. I like telling students about me when I can. This is one of the classes I can. Let's face it, teachers in general are not that approachable. A lot of them aren't. They're reserved. They don't tell you anything about themselves. You don't know like if they're nice or not. You just get how they are in class. The more you know about me, the better off. Like if most people at some point nodded their head, like, yeah, I recognize that. That's something I enjoy. Even if it was only the food. It makes me more approachable and like Calc 1 isn't like really important in this class to be approachable, I think, because this is gonna make about half of you want to drop when we do our first test. Not because the material is too hard, because you probably didn't put in the amount of effort you need to learn it. What it takes to pass Calc 1 is you're gonna find out how well you know algebra. So our first test, I'll show you when it is in a little bit. We're doing, a lot of teachers do chapter 1 first, a test right after chapter 1. I do the first test with chapter 1 and 2 so that you have some time to refresh your algebra skills if you need to and stuff like that. And the topics go together better. We will. Go over other stuff in Math 65 in a little bit. It's been a little while. Why don't we take a like 10-minute break and let you guys use the restroom or anything like that? Who in here wanted to add? Oh, good, I got one for you. Like it. Okay, there's two of you. I think I can name you both without getting in too much trouble. They wanted me to not add people past 40. Because there's. Just enough students that need to take Calc 1 that don't have a class right now that we can justify taking another class. If there's only two of you, that I'll just say I couldn't count to 40. Let's take a 10-minute break. Or if no one gets up and goes to the bathroom in a little bit, I'll continue. Or turn and talk to each other. Like introduce yourself. Who here's doing a STEM sequence major? Not everybody raise their hand. Like any STEM major, biology, chemistry, engineering, let's try this again. Or better yet, who's not? Really? What's your major?
Business econ.
Okay, you're right, it's not STEM, but it does have calculus in it. In fact, my passion for teaching started with doing calculus for econ at Santa Cruz. Which was cool. For most of you, you're gonna be taking at least Calc 2, if not Calc 3. Very few classes require, or very few pages require Calc 2 and not Calc 3. Which probably means you're gonna be seeing each other for a while, and not just in this class, but other classes. Make some friends. I understand if you don't like studying with other people, if you've never tried it. I had no interest in studying with other people. When I came back to school, I was like 30, and I like kind of doing. I quit my day job to come back to school, and I started it during summer and took pre-calc B, it was called trigonometry then, and then pre-calculus, back to back, 2 4-week courses. And like only 10 of us like passed both classes, it was brutal. But like after the first week, someone asked me to go over to the Mesa Center, like I was used to going home and doing my homework at home. I don't wanna do that. They're like, come on, just one day, try it one day. And I went over there and I did have to help everybody else more than they helped me. But there was 1 or 2 questions I asked. And one of the students I was helping knew the answer. And so I'm, oh. They're not all like less intelligent, like I'm very arrogant. They do have something to contribute. And then I found out, like even helping others, like tutoring others, explaining the steps to other people. Actually makes you understand it a shitload better. And it makes the rest easier to understand. So like if you're studying with others, doing homework with others. You're gonna like get better at it just by like talking to each other about it. So I strongly recommend doing that. No one's gotta go to the bathroom. Alright. Wait, did anyone go? Is anyone missing that's sitting next to you? Nope. Alright, then let's get started. This, our homepage, you click on home, this is what you'll see when you get to Canvas. I want you to go through this orientation thing first. There's a couple of like short assignments in there that are not math related. Because we're not doing any math today, you have some homework that you can do that's not math related. But one of them is like introduce yourself. I'm gonna take roll, but this is like a chance for you to say hello. Even if you just say hi, like 2 letters, that's enough. But the more you share, the more other people. You can learn about other people, and like if you come back in like a week and see like read the introduce yourselves. You might find people that like want the same major, have the same hobbies, and you might like, well, fuck, let's be friends. You know, we got a lot in common. You never know. Couple of the other ones are pretty good. I'm gonna go over here downward with you because they're kind of important. Click. MFR. There we go. Alright, So I will have office hours in here before class from 7:30 to 8. If I'm not here at 7:30, I will be here shortly. Okay? Let's face it, if you, anytime after this, you probably have another class after this. And so doing office hours afterwards doesn't work for students. And it's just easier to have it right before. In fact, you'll find if you come here earlier, getting past, is that Mission Oaks down there? Getting past Mission Oaks is so much easier at fucking 7:15 than it is at 7:45. It's fucking insane. Like there was no car in front of me when I got here, when I was like 7:20. 7:25, I think. And then on the Mesa Center, I'll show you on another tab. The next tab has info about the Mesa Center. I'm there at 9 AM to noon on Saturdays. Starting this Saturday, I'll be there this weekend. Other than that, if you want to meet with me or ask questions, you can always, we have a Discord. I'll show you guys it in a little bit. I recommend it. Cause people that have gone through the classes, the ones you're taking, concurrent people that are taking it and people that have already passed it are on there and they still look at it. And they will answer questions and like, so you have a lot of students that have passed Calc 1 there to answer questions, take a picture of what you're doing. Like, I don't know what the fuck I did wrong. Boom, this was here. As long as you make sure you write down what the problem was, so they like understand what your objective was. People will help you and I'm probably the most active professor on there. But I'm not always the first to respond because there's just so many fucking students. You can text me, my cell phone number's on here. If you don't try calling, fucking ringers off. Like the phone's set to presumably only let like my wife and people I would bury a body with. Get the phone through, like someone that has an emergency. But text me, and if you do, text me your name in class. And preferably if you have a even semi-common first name, your last name, so I actually know who it is. And definitely what class you're in. You just gotta do that name in class the first time. Just so because texting keeps the history of it. That way, I'm talking to you, but you take pictures of what you're doing and I check my phone fairly often. And I'll respond when I can. Or like you're like, I wanna meet on Zoom or something like that, I can do that too. I have met a student at 6 AM. Every week, a couple years ago, like pre-pandemic. Cause she had a full-time job and 3 kids and. The only time she was kid-free, job-free, parenting requirements-free was. One day a week at 6 AM. She was worried she wasn't gonna pass, and she ended up getting an A. So like, she showed up, I'm willing to work with you if you have restrictions like that. And if you need to do the Zoom, it's over here under Jefe Zoom room. I go by Jefe because like, my name is like one of the most common white guy names in the fucking world. Jones is, I don't know if Smith or Jones is higher, but they're fucking both up there, and David is one of the most common like names. I went to high school with the David Jones. There are so many Professor Joneses, less Professor David Joneses, but still, they're on there. So I use Professor Jefe, it comes from my time at NASA. I used to carpool with someone from Fremont to over to Ames. And we drop his kids off at like this all day, like summer camp fun thing. And he started calling me Jefe. He was from Puerto Rico and I didn't like it because I didn't know what it meant. It sure fucking reminded me of a heifer. I thought he was talking shit. I'm like, motherfucker. And he'd be like, no, he's boss. And then he'd give me this smirk that made me not believe him. And I didn't believe him. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't think it was cow. I didn't think it was boss. I don't know why I didn't Google it. You'd think I would have. I didn't till I was at COS. And I was telling students this like one of my first semesters and students like the name and they start calling me Jefe. So I use it and it's my YouTube channel, Professor Jefe. I'll show you that in a second. We have a Discord group. It is right here. Really? Motherfucker, I'm already in it, you bastard. All right, so some things you might like. PowerPoint channels, see, people taking pictures of the problems, putting them up. Something else you might like that I should tell you to buy the official textbook. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's the official statement. Okay. Going back over here. Consume hours. Lecture content, we'll be doing it in here, obviously. I am live broadcasting this on Zoom. There is at least one person on here that's from, like, lives in Hanford and is gonna show up on test days. If the drive is accessible for you, watch it, but I strongly recommend if you're even remotely anywhere near the area, come to class, because it is so easy to not pay attention at home. So easy to get distracted by the fact that pets walking up to you, someone else in the house making noise, your phone goes off. You ever notice no one's phone is ever on in class? Everybody turns it off here, but at home you probably leave that shit on and it's easy to get distracted. And then you stop paying attention and then you fall behind. So come, if you can. It also works for, if you're sick, I do record, it's recording, not just broadcasting, the recording. I'm gonna download it. It probably won't be till this weekend, like Friday, but I'll put them up in our module section for stuff. I have the previous times I've taught up on YouTube as well. I put them on YouTube and shared the link. And I actually do a lot of stuff here on the document camera with paper. And I scan the paper and put my lecture notes up, like what I'm doing. So you can like see what I did too. Some people like that. It doesn't replace taking your own notes, but it can help fill in gaps. I have lots of videos up. In fact, if you click on Jefe's videos, it'll take you there. Or you can go to YouTube. I only say this now because you're going to be continuing in math. If you look up Professor Jefe, MF. You see my face. You just go to playlist. And you can find Math 65 on here somewhere. I teach computer science here as well. Like Math 67, Calc 3 is up here. I have two for Calc 3 because I flipped that class. So a playlist for the lectures and a playlist for in-class examples. You get a lot more done in a flipped class. You can do more examples with students, it's great. I just haven't flipped Calc 1 yet, I should. There's the old playlist for Math 65. Huh. Why do I have some short videos in here? I must have like wanted to do some problems afterwards. But you can find it there or by clicking there. It'll also like, if you missed it, you missed class, you're waiting for the video and you want to get on top of things. Homework, we've got people in here that have jobs, that have families. Some people have more time for homework than others. Some people don't. Homework is not mandatory, it is not part of your grade. It is gonna be worth extra credit on your test. Okay, the way homework will work is on test day. If you do it on like a tablet or you can take pictures of it later on if you want. There will be a spot you can upload it all as one PDF. Or if you just like bring up your notebook where you've been doing it, I'll skim through it and see how, like, I'm not checking each problem, I'm checking for like, did you look like you're doing it or was this from the back of the fucking answer key? I've had someone do that. Like hand me like what's in the answer key, acting like that he did the homework. Motherfucker, I'm not stupid. But if you do it, and you'll see it on the syllabus how the extra credit works. But that way you do as much as you need to master the material. I will give you recommended problems, but some of you may want to do more. Some of you will do less. You will find the right balance for you. Hopefully you start off at least for the first test doing all the homework. Just so you see if that was enough. I'm telling you, Calc 1 overall generally has around, if not a little lower, than a 30% pass rate. Yeah. That's gonna be probably the pass rate on the first test. I hope not. This semester, I told you I'm gonna have that program out. I'm just waiting for them to make it so that it's free. And I will have a link for you guys to practice doing. It's in the Alex program. So it only, you like take this initial knowledge check test. You spend like an hour doing like 25 math problems. Finding out, and like, if you do it honestly, like just don't guess on anything. Everything you know, it won't give you any problems on, but everything you clearly didn't know, it'll give you problems on. And like, show you how to do it beforehand. So you can brush up on your algebra and trigonometry skills before. As much as you can, hopefully before that first test. Because I guarantee you, your algebra is gonna be what hurts you more than the calculus. For most people. Also to try to make you guys do better. I'm trying something else new. It's gonna be a group practice test. That's also gonna be extra credit. When we get closer to the test date, I will like upload a practice test for you guys. You probably did try to do it at home alone first, but then like the day before the test. I'll put you guys in groups and you guys can discuss each problem, and if you all got the same answer and work it out the same way, good to go. But just have everyone in your group should write down at least one problem. Turn it into a group practice test, and I'm probably gonna use the extra credit for the test. It might be for the first test, it might be those that bother to show up for something that is not required and do this. Will get the option to fix their first test. Because. It just sounds unrealistic saying it, but a lot of you are not gonna be happy with the results of the first test. Hopefully, you guys prove me wrong. I hope you do. I hope I can go, look, other math teachers offering Alex and doing group practice tests does help raise the test scores. I really hope this works. But a lot of people find it's easier learning from other students. Part of it is you've seen the teacher talk about it before, so you have at least some idea of what it is. The other is you are far less intimidated talking to your peer. I try to eliminate that by like telling you about me, you know, shit like that, but still people get intimidated by talking to a teacher. So hopefully the group practice test works. We do have other resources for videos. Professor John Redden teaches math and computer science here with me. We both are the math and computer science teachers. There's one other that teaches in the math department, teaches some like, I don't know if it's C-size 6 or 5, one of them. And then the engineering teacher teaches another class too in the computer science. But me and him are there. He's got some courses up on YouTube. Miss Redden has courses up. She teaches like linear algebra, differential equations, but all the calculus stuff. She's got videos up for like all this shit too. And I have Professor Leonard up, and he does not teach here. The other two do. But people seem to like him. He's got that Superman stuff going on. I mean, some of his videos even has a fucking curl that like Superman has. So I don't know if it might be girls like him more than guys because he's got a pretty face kind of thing, but I watched his videos enough to like see how he teaches. He does a good job. You probably don't need the math lab videos, but if you suck at fractions. Let's see, anything else I need to tell you about from here? Yeah. Mesa Center is the next one. This has information on it where it is. This is the John Muir building in 124. I'm there Saturdays from 9 to 12, but there's people like there all day from Monday through Friday from like 8 till at least 5. If you look up Mesa on COS, it'll give you a bunch of these requirements to be an official member of Mesa. But you don't need to do that to go and benefit from it. In fact, they do tour colleges, so when you're getting ready to transfer, you can go check out colleges. Sometimes they go on field trips to see cool stuff. Have speakers occasionally from industry or research, giving a presentation. We've had alumni show up that were graduate school or and getting bachelor's or that did some internship during the research. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but there's free tutoring and you're more likely to get someone proficient in Calc 1 at Mesa. The math lab, the one definitely in Visalia has John Book out there. He's been doing this shit longer than fucking a lot of the teachers have. I don't know why he's not a teacher, but he knows all the math really well. Whether you find someone in Tulare that's good at Calc 1, I need to ask when the hour, I'll email the guy. When are the hours for the tutors that know Calc 1? And some of them just do stats, but others do Calc 1, Calc 2, shit like that. Mesa, they all know it. Another advantage of Mesa is they have laptops, books to check out, not just math, but I think other courses like textbooks aren't fucking cheap. Library for our course has a textbook you can check out, but they used to have 120 and now they're down to like 60 something. And there's like 200 people enrolled, 240 people enrolled in calculus right now. So you could buy the book, check out resources available to you other ways. Or, do stuff like that. But Mesa has books to check out, so that's another resource to check out. But if you like a physical copy, and I do, I hate like looking at my screen to do homework. Let's see. Syllabus. So if you click on the syllabus tab, you will see what we're planning on doing, and when. These are the topics in the book. It's a calculus book. If I told you the name, you're not gonna remember it. It's in the syllabus. I'll show it to you in a second. A lot of calculus book. In fact, even if you wanted to get a different calculus book, you could go to eBay and buy literally any fucking calculus book. You buy one that's in like 3 editions old, and you can get like textbooks for $5 or $10. Calculus hasn't fucking changed. They just put different problems in, change the order of the problems. Some of them explain it differently, some authors explain it differently than others, but the content's all there. So if you like a physical textbook, or you could do homework problems from there, you're gonna have to pick your own numbers. I have example like good choices from Anton, which is the author of the one we are using right now, but if you like the physical book, like I still have my one from Stewart. It's sitting at home. I got it for like $15 on eBay. And I used it for 3 semesters here as a student, and I still go back and look at it. Because he teaches stuff different than Anton does. It has what we're doing when, you can see when the group practice tests are. It says solo because I want to make it crystal clear. The actual test is not a group test. Solo means alone. So we're gonna have, you'll see we have 4 tests and a final. We'll talk about that more going through the syllabus. You should, and I know, it fucking sucks. Reading syllabus sucks. You're gonna look at mine and go, fuck, it's even longer than everybody else's. Some teachers do like a 1-page syllabus. Doesn't really say shit, doesn't give you like any information. I'll go through with this a bunch with you, but the syllabus is literally like a contract the teacher is making with you. And by you continuing to stay in the class, enroll in the class, you're agreeing that this is how you're gonna be graded, this is what's expected of you. It's worth reading. So you can see our class time, you know where it is. If you're in here, you found it. My office is, if I'm not in here, like when you get here, my office is down the hall, like right here, the door's coming in. Not the first door on that side, but oh, fuck it. It says I'm a math professor. Of course I've got problems. You'll see me. I leave the blind up, so if I'm in there, you'll see me. And feel free to come in. It doesn't need to be about math. I have helped students with all sorts of shit. I teach in evenings also, so I've had students like, my ex-boyfriend is stalking me, I don't feel safe going to, I've walked a girl to her car. I've helped the student become a firefighter, not firefighter, policeman. He wanted, like, I don't know how to like fill out all this stuff, so I was walking him through like applying to be a police officer. And like a couple of years later, he sent me like a picture of him in uniform, I just got hired, I'm like, fuck yeah. I do all sorts of shit to help you. This is our book. I do pledge to do my best to help you guys. But if you get a passing grade in here, you earned it. There's no charity. Definitely not in a STEM class. I will likely not round up, I might, but I may not round up a 69. Or 68 to a C at 70. And you might be like, God damn, you're a dick. Or the other way to look at it is, you didn't understand at least 30% of the fucking material. And if I send you on to Calc 2, I might as well just like hook you up to a fucking car battery and send you on your way. Like, let's shock the shit out of you. I don't know where graphic, that's a little graphic. You know, like, I'm not doing right by you by passing you when I know what the next class takes. I personally think Calc 2 is the hardest of the calculuses. As long as you understand algebra and trigonometry and you're willing to take the time to learn the calculus in here, this class isn't really that hard. It's the algebra and trig, people come in and have not done it in a while, it's gonna be a fucking kick in the groin. A few kicks for some people. But if it's not, Calc 2 is probably the harder one. If I pass you when you shouldn't pass. I just have made it so you can't retake calculus, because they won't let you take the class you passed already. And then you've got to learn anything you didn't understand in calculus on your own. I'm not doing you any favors if I pass you if you don't deserve it. So you will earn a passing grade. There is drop dates. If you want to drop, it's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday. You can drop, nothing shows up in your transcript, you're not billed, no withdrawal on your transcripts or anything like that. After that, it's October 18th, and after that, your grade will be what you earn. I do, besides the C thing, look at other factors on rounding up. Like this beginning stuff here. Oh, shit. I'll come back to that in a second. Doing extra shit, doing these activities, sending in your homework, if you're at like a fucking 89%, I'll probably give you an A minus if you've been doing all the other shit. Which is not what, an 89 is normally B plus. In fact, the only people I've ever given an A minus to were people in that range. I don't give A minus to anyone, like, normally it's like 90, 91%, sometimes 92%. If you get that, I'm giving you an A. Cause A is 4.0 on your transcripts and A minus is 3.7, which is some bullshit. Cause A plus is not worth extra. That's so like A should, like A plus isn't worth extra, I ain't gonna penalize you for any minus. Let's get back to the syllabus. You should attend in here. If you like listening to earbuds, I don't recommend you do it in class. But I've monitored and like seen like students that it's been something I've like kept kind of like, I don't know, like taking written notes or anything, but like students over the last few years, I've noticed the students that have earbuds in every once in a while, and you catch them bobbing their head to music or something. They don't do as well. You're literally like you're dividing your attention, even if it's like 90% on lecture and 10% on the music. Every once in a while, your song, and everybody has a song. Your song comes on, you ain't listening to the fucking teacher at all. Or you know, and so you do not as well. I'm definitely not gonna allow on tests. I've seen on Reddit, other teachers catching and like students that have like recorded their notes for earbud so they could like listen to it on the test. If I let you have a cheat sheet, it'll be like a note card, but I'm not saying I will or will not yet. Don't cheat in here, please don't cheat in here. Calculator, you can use a calculator, you don't need a fancy one. You probably shouldn't use a grabbing one. Just cause it's gonna make you not learn the material. And you can't always rely on it. Some people don't allow the calculator on the test. Since your grade is not on your homework, it's on test, like. That's what I'm grading you on, and on every problem, I tend to make problems worth on tests. Like a shitload of points each. Like 30 or more, and it like trips you, go, oh, my test is worth 300 points. It's worth a certain percentage of your grade, it's a fixed thing, I can make it worth 1 million, I can make it worth fucking 10. The more points I make each problem worth, the more I can. Barely penalize, like doing 5 minus 2 is 8. Or 7, that's you probably. People make my arithmetic mistakes all the time. I can penalize that with a little bit, like taking 1 point off for shit like that. On a 5-point problem, 1 point off is a fucking lot. On a 30-point problem, 1 point off doesn't move the needle. So, but having said that, the solution is only worth 1 point. Your work is gonna decide the rest. Calculators will only show you so much, yeah.
How many questions are on that exam?
I don't recall, but like. Enough to test your knowledge, but not enough that you shouldn't be able to do it 2 hours. I told you homework's not getting graded, I will use it, I didn't explain how the extra credit works, we'll get to that in a second. Please check out the tutoring, I told you guys about the group tests, or group practice tests. We will have 4 tests, each one is worth 18%, so 72% total. 18% seems like a weird number, but I'm like, if I make them 20 points each, then the finals worth the same amount, I'd like the final to be worth a little bit more. If you think you qualify for accommodations in class, like extra time and stuff like that, you can check, call, or go to the AAC. I'm sure some people in here already have that. It allows you to have extra testing time, which means you have to do it somewhere else, because I'm not sticking around. I can't, in like this classroom, there's someone in here at 10 o'clock. But if you qualify for it, they can give you extra testing time and stuff like that. I just told you about partial credit on the test, show all your work, try to do it in an organized manner, what the fuck? And you'll see, like, as I'm lecturing and giving notes, especially when I go over like the practice test. I'll have a recorded like video, you guys get into group practice tests together. But I'll have like a recorded video of how I would do the practice test. That way you can check it out after you guys do the group practice, but before the actual test. You'll see what, like, it's a good format. And then the finals were 28%, we're doing it on December 12th, same class time, same class place. Leveling up, I'm a gamer, so I brought gaming to my syllabus, my class. Leveling up in here is doing your homework and then submitting it, either showing it to me on the day of the test. Or uploading it as a single PDF, I'll show you where in a second. And like, it doesn't sound like a lot, the first level is 1%, but it's cumulative. So every time you do it, you'll get an extra point for the test. First test is only 1 point, second test is 2 points, fourth test is 4 points, which is almost half a letter grade, really. And if you do all of them, the 4%, it will. I need to reword this, this says 5 tests. It's not, the 5th test, the final doesn't have like anything on it, but if you've done it for all 4 tests. The extra credit will not only apply to the 4th test, but to the final as well. I have an SI in Calculus 2 right now, she took Calc 1 with me. She explained my testing as. He's like Oprah Winfrey with extra credit. And it may sound like a lot of extra credit, like you can get it from doing, showing me your homework, doing a leveling up thing like that, stuff like that, but. I have the same pass rates as everybody else. For me, giving you credit for homework is giving extra credit. Because most of you are in here, have some idea of what you do want to do, why you want to do it. The only reason to give credit for homework is to motivate people to do the fucking homework. If you don't have the motivation to do it on your own, real life is gonna kick you in the pants. So, you have the motivation to do it because you have some job you have in mind, keep that in mind. But we have lots of extra in here, there's the score, I have a color version. Of this right here. We only have one holiday since we're in the middle of the week. Monday, Wednesday class, I think it had like 2 or 3 holidays this semester. But this doesn't have anything else other than that. Is there anything else I need to tell you? So as I'm going through it, at least for the first few chapters, I know I'm going off of. This thing, docx and PDF are the same thing. Just ones, they're saved differently. I'm gonna be doing questions predominantly off this. So if you want to, you can print them out. Or if you do your homework on a tablet or computer, you write right on it. Every once in a while, I'll throw in an extra question, so having a notebook available if you go this route is handy. Back to modules again. The recommended homework problems are here. For like each chapter, we can see it in the modules. They're all down here. Oh. I need to change the naming. That says fall 2023. Should say 2024. I actually have the modules from last time I taught this, where you can actually go through and watch the videos they had without going to YouTube. But you can see kind of the format. I will add a PDF and a link to the YouTube to our class as we teach them. And I'm gonna put it up here in like this right here. There is a module in here that says useful handouts. There's shit on algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. It's worth going through the algebra ones and looking at them and going, do I remember how to do this? And if you don't, you might want to brush up. The calculus ones will just be helpful throughout the semester to help like condense it all into one area. Any questions? Hi, Mr. Beret. That's our other math teacher here. Robin Blair. No questions? Yeah.
How do we?
I haven't put it up yet. I'll show you what it's gonna look like by showing you Calc 2. Let me load the Calc 2 course real quick. You will see something that says homework Dropbox. And let's see, let's do view as student real quick. If you do start assignment, you can upload a file. Please, if you're doing it this way, do one PDF. Figure it out ahead of time. Like I can do a simulation Dropbox ahead of time. If you wanna like after 4 weeks, like practice uploading a bunch of pictures like you're using your phone. Because I'm gonna be irritated if I have to look through 20 photos for fucking 40 students or fucking 6 different classes. You know what I mean? You feel me? One PDF, please. Try to do them in order. I've had people like, this was fun. And I know it's gonna happen this semester because I'm teaching college algebra online. I guarantee I'm gonna have someone submit like the work on their test. With pictures for it, there it's gonna be, it'll show like problem 1, problem 8, problem 15, problem 3. Did you fucking put these in order? Jesus. So you can upload it. You use webcam. What the fuck? This is a new one. I can take a picture. I won't let me do it. Oh. It won't let me do it. Because the camera's pointed at you guys right now. I could have taken a picture of the first day of class. And then, like, the last week of class, show you how many are left. In fact, look around right now. Be prepared to say goodbye to like half the people in here within the next month and a half. by a week after the first test. Some people will drop before the first test. You get a bunch of people that are like, after the first test, they don't even wait to find out what they got, because they know. They're just like, no, this is harder than they thought. I need more practice. Other than that. I don't have anything else for you guys for today.
We do the chapters, do you want us to wait until we've done like all of chapter 1 to drop our homework in?
Yes,
Okay.
one of the whole chapter, not just,
Don't
not a
like
PDF per section.
section 1.1 and then upload section 1.2
No.
later, just do it all at once.
just do it all at once. I'm not gonna go through it for accuracy. If you want me to check your work to make sure you get it right. Send me a picture, like text me or something like, did I do this right? Put it on Discord. Most of the problems here are odds on the list. There is a guide that has the answer keys, and the back of the book has odd numbers. There you might find other resources available.
What's fair enough, Discord, so so do you guys have the way, the profiles we set up by name, like for our actual names on there?
No, you register what you want.
Okay, so it doesn't matter,
No, some people have no idea who I'm fucking talking to. Like someone in FNL goes by Sicko Mode Larry. His name's not Larry. And I remember asking who it was, but I don't remember. So many people's names are off. Mine on there is Professor Jefe.
but you know, it's because without that profile setting, to change the names, I'm stuck as my username, and my username laundry sauce, so I can't change it.
Whatever it is. I don't worry about it. Like, if you want me to know who it is, you can tell me. But. I help all the, like, even if for students that join the math Discord that are not in my class. If I see questions up, I'm gonna answer them. That's what I do. Any other questions? Oh, I almost said get the fuck out, but I gotta take roll first. Okay, so. If I mangle your name. Or even you like to be called something different, say something. If you go by Nikki and your name on here is Nicholas, fucking tell me. If you go by Tom and your name on here is Abe, fucking tell me. I'll make a note of it. If your name's completely different, feel like what you go by is completely different than what's on page. It's gonna be harder for me to remember, but I'll do my best for it. But if I fuck your name up and just say it wrong, and you don't correct me, and then like in 16 weeks or something, when I'm handing you your test, you go. Good job, Elizabeth, and you're like, no, it's not Elizabeth, it's Elizabeth. You're an asshole, I'm taking that. You made me feel like an asshole for saying your name wrong, but it's not my fault if you don't correct me. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Fatima. Fatima. Oh, which way is it? Fatima, okay. I didn't see your hand up for a second. Jacob. Cecilia.
Here.
Emmanuel. Anthony. Norberto.
Here.
Alan. Elite. Megan. Ayana. Is that right? Yeah. I've had some rough ones. Joanna. Where? Michael.
Yeah.
You don't need an ad code. If I said your name, you're already in.
Well, yesterday, I didn't realize it was the Tulare campus, and I was having like a midlife crisis, because I was like, now I'm gonna go to Tulare, because I thought it was the Visalia campus. So I'm like, I gotta figure out another class in the Visalia campus, but I'm like, I'll just come like.
Okay. Well, if you do decide to change, you
Yeah.
can, but you'll have to get an ad code for that. Joseph. Tyler. All right, this is gonna be a fun one. Alejandro Garcia. There's only one of you.
No, I'm right here. You can call me Alex for like.
Okay. Alex and Alejandro. All right, for you two, this is gonna suck. But I don't know which one's different, not like on paper. The only way to distinguish you is by banner ID. So like on your test, It's gonna suck memorizing your banner ID. I've never had this. I fucking emailed the other math teachers a picture of this and they're like, whoa, I've never seen this and I've been teaching 20 years. Put your name and your banner ID, that way I don't get you like switch the test scores, who gets what. Okay.
That's-
Fair enough, but you're both here, Eric's here, Christopher. Chris, okay. Patrick. Kenya. Nicholas. Roberto, I saw you sneak in, there you are. He's our resident Unabomber. Look at him. He likes his hoodie. He's always quiet. I don't wanna piss him off, cause I think one day he's gonna be at Sniper Tower somewhere. I hope I'm making a joke about it, I'm not one of the targets. It's a joke. Yeah, Roberto, you've taken more than one class with me, right? You know I'm right? Isabella, everybody's looking at me like I'm all fucked up. Isabella? Jose? Jessica?
I'm here.
Uh-oh, I know you're here, Jose. Okay, Jose Nunez. There we go. Jessica, I think okay. Wow, you guys are next to each other and alphabetically and sequence, that's crazy. Xavier. Okay, here's the couple names I'm gonna fuck up. Saera? How is it said?
Severa,
Sa-
the V.
Savera, okay. Would never have gotten that. Every once in a while, like one of the letters just is a different sound, and you're like, what the? That's kind of neat. Okay, this one's I'm gonna fuck it up. Maximino? Am I saying it right?
Maximino.
Maximino, okay. Do you go by your full name or just Max?
Oh, just Max.
Okay. That's easier. Aiden. Is that right? Brianne.
Here.
Victor. Carlos.
Here.
And now, I don't know how this student showed up on this list and my trigonometry list. My pre-calc B list yesterday, because I saw this before. This person's first name and last name are both 4 letters each. And there's 5 fucking A's between them. Out of 8 characters, 5 of them are A's. Ala. Alea. Sab. They didn't show up in that class either. Huh. I never seen that many, like, over half the letters are A's, that's fucking crazy. Irving.
Here.
Alright, here's one I may mingle. Jaslyn. Was that right? Sweet. I wasn't sure if it was gonna have that sound or not. Nathaniel. You go by Nathaniel or Nate or? Okay. I know Sway answered Marcella. Zavala. Alright. That's it. You are free to go, get the fuck out.
This pops up when I go to the textbook,
See you.
when I go to download. Do I go to,
Try the different ones and see which one works for you.
okay, but both, it doesn't matter the 11th or the 14th. Textbook,
We're doing the 11. I didn't even know there was a 14th up.
well, on there. Yeah, I tried the 11th and that's what popped up on here. It's like a,
Give me a second. Give me a back up over.
It doesn't say wait.
got my name.
No, not you. The tutor?
Yeah.
She had sent for you to the top one.
Jesus.
If you go in,
Oh, shit.
if you log in your office.
It was just, I
Mine
don't know
voted
if
on
it was,
the
because I did it yesterday.
You see us?
She was saying,
You're here?
she said it to everybody and I thought. Yeah, the 2 YouTube ones.
Later, what?
It's only you can.
You did talk.
Oh, I printed this out at 8 yesterday. If you had it after that, all right, you're fine, Ivan. Uh-huh.
I need to ask the.
You don't need to, you already, oh,
But I could.
oh, you dropped it,
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Mine was
I
just
didn't,
like.
yeah,
I just needed to get those to like just verify again.
yeah.
It's like,
So the CRN number is 16440,
it's a.
and that is probably an easy one to
Did you do
enter.
Office 365?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll
It's
see if it works when I
like-
get home.
Okay,
Okay.
email me if you have problems.
I don't know.
I was teaching the classes.
This one.
What's your name again?
And then,
Go ahead. You can email me here.
I was wondering if I could just copy and paste the first, like, the things, so it's the same.
What do you mean?
Like, it's huge, so the.
They're not, did you read them in different questions?
Oh, they are,
I know you didn't read them, they're
I
like,
just looked at.
they're prompts, one of them's like watch a video and what do you think on it, it's, they're not that long.
Like, Jordan, yeah, three is the first good.
What's the last thing?
No, that's why.
What's your last name?
Wednesday.
Like, how do you spell it? I mean,
C-E-D.
C,
Which would have been 30.
oh, Julian, okay, yeah, you're on it, good. You know, this is new, normally at the stroke of midnight, the day of class, they stop doing web registration, you have to do ad code. That way, teachers can print out the fucking roster at 7 AM and be ready for class, apparently that should change. Can you, right? I fucking just took a roll like 5 minutes ago.
I was just thinking, I thought you, don't. They told me to get you this one.
Look at this kiss ass, I love it.
They specifically told me to like, holy shit, I don't know her name, I forgot her name, but she told me to get you that one, yeah.
I got it down yesterday, and it's like, she's like, I can open up another box, I'm like, I like chocolate open options.
That's why they.
What? See this guy, that's how you do it right there.
Well, she's already at least 5% ahead.
Yeah, she's already got the fucking.
I just wanted to ask about the state of the algebra.
I'm waiting for it to be free, and I will like send out an announcement when it's up and ready, there will be a link to it on the left canvas.
I never knew because I took the trig and I passed the C and they didn't want me to retake it, so I was like, I need to retake it.
Right,
Yeah, so I never reviewed trig too.
this is fucking awesome. Day one!
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a new one, Eric. That's fucking crazy.
Wait.
Oh, maybe I should
I was like,
stop
I think I can
recording.
mail it to you too, 'cause I have mine.
Oh, I do have it.
I already had it, bro.
I have,
Crazy.
Oh, yeah, concrete.
Yeah.
I have work.
Alright.
Okay.